In case you didn't know, home inspections are a really important part of buying a house. So today, I'm going to meet with J. Snoop Dog Smith with A Snoop Inspection, and we're going to talk everything home inspection. Hi everybody, I'm Diana Harvey, and in case you didn't know, it's my mortgage show. Hi Jay, thanks for coming.
Hi, Dana. Great to be here.
So before we get too in-depth with home inspections, let me just stop a minute and talk a little bit about the difference between a home inspection and an appraisal, because I know you and I get this all the time.
Sure do.
So an appraisal is basically what we, the lender, ask for to find the value of the property for financing purposes. So Jay, tell us what an inspection is.
Well, a home inspector's not there to figure out the value, but he is there to figure out the functionality, whether there are safety issues around the house, and just the general condition of the home, not the value.
So, one of the things I really appreciate about you, Jay, is that your background is actually construction. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I started A Snoop Inspection 12 years ago, but way prior to that, my father was a general contractor when I was a kid, so I went into general contracting right out of high school, during high school, and then I actually went out and got my own home contractor's license at 24 years old in Virginia. So I've actually built entire houses, I've remodeled them from top to bottom, so I know quite a bit about a house itself.
Well, and that's one of the things I really appreciate with you, is that you look at it from that constructor's point of view. So, awesome. So, in inspections, what all are you looking at?
I mean, literally the house from top to bottom. I mean, we're trying to see if there's any foundation cracks, whether it's cracks in the tile or cracks in the walls on the outside, the condition of the roof, and everything in between, from the electrical, the plumbing, heating and air, windows, doors, appliances, the whole 9 yards.
So what I like to tell people is that you're there to tell them anything that needs to be done now, and even give them some tips about what they might want to prepare for in the future.
I always have had the rule of thumb that if I think there's a large expense coming up within the first 5 years, I think they should know about it. You're spending all this money just getting into a house, and if you need a roof, even in the next, if it's good today, but you need it in 3 or 4 years, that's a big expense. I mean, over 10 grand, could be 20 grand, so that's something I would think they would want to know about.
So one of the things also when you do a home inspection is a lot of times you are also doing a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation report, and that's for insurance purposes.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about those reports.
Well, home inspection is going to detail everything, down to a window that doesn't quite open correctly, a loose outlet, an appliance that doesn't work. But in the 4-point report, that's strictly for information. It is a mini home inspection, but it's looking for the big items. Is there a bad electrical panel there? Is the water heater leaking? Or if it's even any of those systems are old, the HVAC is 25 years old, it may become an issue with insurance. The wind mitigation, the 3rd inspection, is really just about hurricanes, the windows, doors, how the roof was done, and how the house is constructed, whether you're entitled to any discounts. There's 7 different sections in that report, and literally every section is a different discount.
And discounts are always good on insurance.
These days, most definitely.
So property inspections are not required. They are not required by me, the lender, and they are not really required to purchase. But I know you have some real stories about people that have bought property that didn't get an inspection.
Well, of course, we're in that time where they're having to cut out inspections just to buy a home. And then we've gone out after they've purchased it and told them about a few items that aren't a good idea. I actually went on one home that they had purchased the house, had a swimming pool, and the previous owner had removed the pool enclosure. So there was no screen cage over it and no fence. So there was zero barrier with that pool. And just buying a house, they weren't thinking about it. I'm sure they're just worried about getting in, buying a home, and then not thinking about safety. And that's one of the things the insurance company would have looked at. The roof was newer, but there was actually still a couple of problems with the roof on how it was flashed on the front of the house, and it was rotting out soffits. That the whole roof doesn't have to be redone, but there's sections that need to be redone. And that's the kind of things that happen after the fact. Now, I hope that no one ever buys a house that has polybutylene pipe or aluminum wiring or something and paying cash. Then that's a little bit bigger issue and it would be an insurance issue.
And I think you were mentioning to me, you've actually seen that where people have paid cash. They didn't worry about insurance initially. They were just worried about getting the house. And then when they did the 4-point and wind mitigation in order to get insurance, there were some real issues that came up.
I was on a house a couple of months ago that actually had polybutylene pipe. It was in 1995, so it was right at the end when they were putting those pipes in. But he bought the house just a few years ago, and it has the poly, and nothing was said about it. So that can be a real issue.
And that had to be replaced.
Yep, have to repipe the house.
And you couldn't get insurance without doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a lot involved with inspections. Anything else you want to mention to us today?
Well, I mean, of course, we do a lot of work here in Pinellas County. We live right here in Clearwater and St. Pete area. There's a lot of old homes. The 50s and 60s houses have some inherent problems that either they've been repaired through the years, but if they haven't, now you got to prepare if you just bought the house. And that's a whole nother ball of wax there we could open up and talk about lots of different things on these 1950s and 60s. Then even we have the 1920s houses in Old Northeast. So there are some things to think about on these old places.
Well, and even when it comes to just insurance purposes, I know I've owned my home for over 15 years, and I had you come out not that long ago and say, just give me an update. I'm not sure what's going on. I know insurance is going to ask me about the roof. Tell me, what do you think I'm going to need to prepare for? And you did a great job.
Well, and it's funny, you got those 80s and 90s houses that we've had that third panel that came out a few years ago that's now on the list, and it's the Challenger panel. I mean, there's people that bought houses just 6, 7, 8 years ago that panel wasn't as big a deal then, and now it is. So things are changing all the time.
Jay, I really want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and see us today and tell us about A Snoop Inspection and Jay Snoop Dog Smith. So if you're looking for a great inspector, please reach out today. And by the way, we'll see you next week.